Now, finally, you have margin mode. So there are two types of margin, one which is cross, one which is isolated. The exchange explains this, and every exchange will, but I want to explain it in simple terms for you. So here are the types of margin. You have cross margin, which, as the name suggests, is where your margin balance is shared across all open positions. And you have isolated margin, which is where your margin balance is used for a single position. Both have advantages and disadvantages. So don't think when someone says, oh, you shouldn't use this, you shouldn't use that, don't use isolated, don't use cross. That's stupid. Nothing exists for no reason. They both have advantages and disadvantages. Cross margin, what's good about it? It provides flexibility by allowing you to use your margin balance across multiple positions. What are the disadvantages? Well, it increases the risk of liquidation if the losses in multiple positions exceed your balance. And it requires very careful monitoring of all your open positions to avoid margin calls or liquidation. Isolated margin, what's good about it? It limits your losses to a single position and protects your other positions. So if you have multiple positions open, only each one can be affected individually. It reduces the risk to margin call and potential liquidation since losses are contained to just that position. And the disadvantages, it limits flexibility by reserving the margin balance for just that one position. You'll see that it's in green. You'll see that I recommend it. Why do I recommend it? Because the advantages of isolated margin greatly outweigh any of the advantages across. As a new trader especially, your number one focus should be on limiting potential losses to a single position. Let me give an example. If you were to use cross margin and you had three positions open, you had a long on Bitcoin, you had a long on Ethereum, and you had a long on Shiba. And Bitcoin and Ethereum were both going along nicely in profit. But you'd forgotten to put a stop loss on your Shiba position, which can happen. Over time, you take enough trades, you're going to make mistakes. Then a sudden down move in Shiba happens and it goes down 10, 15% in the space of a couple of hours. In cross margin, that Shiba position will get liquidated along with the Bitcoin and the Ethereum. It will take margin away from all your positions to continue keeping them all open. So being wrong once can liquidate your entire positions, even your winning ones. But if you use isolated margin, that means you have three separate positions, each with three separate margin balances. So if the SHIB trade went down, even if you forgot your stop loss, it would go to a liquidation point, but it would only lose the amount of margin that you put up. The Bitcoin and the Ethereum trades that are in profit would not be affected at all. They would still be fine. They would still be moving. So I still say for everyone, but especially for new traders, isolated margin only. Okay, that's it. This is the leverage lesson. It covers everything you could possibly want to know from start to finish. Please, please, please rewatch it, take notes as many times as you need to. This is a super important concept to understand. You are not going to just jump in and make more money by using leverage. That is not what leverage is for. Leverage is for capital efficiency and managing risk. It allows you to enter positions with putting less money on the exchange so you don't have to have risk of the exchange getting hacked or fraud. And it allows you to take positions on smaller moves within a market while managing a fixed risk of your portfolio. You can still risk that 1% of your portfolio, but you don't need to have the entire $1,000 on the portfolio or on the exchange. Sorry. So that's it. Leverage done. If you do have any questions, pop them in the noob chat. Anything that doesn't make sense on this, but please watch this multiple times, take notes, Google anything that doesn't make sense before you come in. I've made this as thorough as possible. There should not be any reason for questions, but if you have something that really can't be figured out, please let me know.